Hey guys, Backyard Wildlife Maine here. I am the sister of the brother sister team, and my avatar is the bobcat, and my pseudonym is Lynn. So you can go ahead and call me by that if you want. It's just to help protect our identities and to make sure that our property is not trespassed on. We definitely take pride in our camera environment, and we want to keep everything safe for us and safe for the animals that we're filming. That being said, today's video is about gear. We get a lot of questions behind the scenes about what camera we're using for this, how we set that up, what our preferences are, and we think it's about time for us to actually start going through and sharing some video clips that showcase some of our favorite cameras, how we use them, and the other types of gear and accessories that we use. In this particular case, what we are seeing is a sequence of clips that I took with, I'll talk about the camera in a minute, um, at a location we call the backfield. This is a little antlerless deer. It's on January 22nd at 8:18 in the morning. We actually had a few clips of him earlier, but because it was a little bit darker, the coloration of the first three clips wasn't homogeneous with these clip series. So I removed them just so that everything looked the same. So this is a location that we're eventually going to establish a wintertime feeder cam. We do have deer feed here. It is commercial deer feed. It is called Purina Antler Max, and it's got the weather guard in it, so it does not tend to, well, at least they say it doesn't tend to dissolve when it comes into contact with moisture. It actually does fairly quickly, which is unusual. The deer love it. It's a healthy food for them. It doesn't cause the acidosis or bloating that you would expect to see with winter deer shifting from a woody browse over to a, a carbohydrate-rich diet, because this is a protein type pellet. So it's real high protein. It gives a lot of the nutrients they need, and it was developed just for deer. So this is why we use this. It's very important for us to maintain the health of the deer herd, help them through harsh winters. This winter is actually the harshest winter in Maine that we've had since, well, 30 years, I think they said. We have some terrible weather coming this weekend with -8 Fahrenheit, and we are doing this to support the herd. Last summer, the herd was really affected because we had the drought situation. You could just tell that the deer were not doing as well as they normally do. We had a lot of thinner deer than we would expect for that time of year. But that also being said, we had a lot of does that had fawns very late in the season, and they had twins. So we had they were sustaining their fawns through a very, very severe drought situation. We had no acorns at all last year. Normally, when you walk out back of my house, it's like you're rollerblading on acorns. There was just no acorns, and I believe also that the drought conditions contributed to that. So it's like a double whammy for them. So they had no acorns going into winter this year, and they had very late fawns that had stopped nursing, very late in the season, which really takes a toll on the does. Anyways, so there's a little bit of background history there. We don't feed the corn. The other people will feed corn. We don't do that, and we also don't feed sweet feed. So we feed we also feed a mineral formula from Purina that they absolutely love. Like the deer, they'll go to that before they'll go to anything else. Um, Other things we do is we will drop trees in the winter to allow them to nibble on the buds. Um, and we also have gardens that we open up in the fall and winter, and oftentimes the deer will come through, and we'll have kale that's green right up until January or so. This year is a little different, but we let the deer in, and they can get into the gardens and browse on whatever leftover agricultural type production there are. If you look back over the channel, you'll also see that we have some gorgeous video of when we opened up the bean rows in my parents' garden in their field. And we had a couple bucks come in for one or two evenings, and it was just stunning footage. They just got so close to the camera, and they were having so much fun eating the beans. It was just great. So anyways, this particular location is called the Backfield. This is a small antlerless deer. I am unsure whether it's a buck or a doe. I welcome your comments. Tell me what this is. Is it a buck or a doe? I really can't see him well enough to determine whether there's any buttons on his head. It could be a little doe, it could be a little buck. I don't know. And to be honest with you, I misgender the deer a lot and I get called out on it. So I don't want to say the wrong thing. Kind of like my bad habit of not counting antlers tines correctly, which I get called out on every once in a while too. Anyways, I told you this is 8:18 in the morning. We have two cameras set up in this location. One of them is a Reveal Ultra, and that is my dad's camera. We set that up for him because he loves getting notifications all night long, showing him the beautiful deer photos. And I thought to myself, you know what? I have this white flash camera. I'm going to set it up next to my dad's Reveal Ultra so that I can get some color photos or color videos and maybe get some good daytime videos because this particular camera, as you can see, takes gorgeous daytime videos. It's almost as high quality as I can get from my Canon R7 mirrorless DSLR. So the camera that you're seeing right now is actually called a GardePro A5WF. It is a non-cellular trail camera. It's also non-Wi-Fi. It runs on 8 AA batteries. It does not have a lithium pack, which probably is the biggest downfall of it. But if you're using rechargeable lithiums, then lithium AAs, then it shouldn't be an issue because those ones last really well throughout the winter. And they hold a charge, especially if you get the real high potency ones like the X-Stars, which we'll talk about later in another video. So this deer is browsing on whatever remnants of Purina Antler Max protein pellets there are. And there's also a lot of grass here. So they do come up and scuff out and they graze on the leftover green grasses. This particular location is set in the very back of a field. The backdrop to this deer is a stone wall. Behind the stone wall is like a short section of wooded, not really densely wooded area, which then opens up onto what we call the back 40. It's just the entire back piece of the property where the rest of our cameras are set, where we have a nice trail that goes around. So it's a couple miles long, and it kind of is across from my house, and it's just nice. It's a beautiful location. It's a huge field. There's a ton of trees, and it's a very popular spot for the deer all year round. Even if we're not feeding them specifically the Antler Max, they come out here to graze on grass. So let's talk about the GardePro A5WF. The one that I actually have is the T5WF. The only difference is that Trail Cam Pro, and I'm also going to give a shout out to Trail Cam Pro for turning me on to the GardePro brand, has the A5WF branded for Trail Cam Pro, so it's the T5 as opposed to the A5. That's pretty much all it is. So the WF in the camera's name stands for white flash. That means that this does like a strobing white flash in the night, which gives you color photos and videos at night. I prefer the daytime photos and the daytime video of this particular camera because it's just so finely detailed. And there's reasons for that. Let's talk about the specs for this particular camera. Number one, it has a SONY Starvis sensor, which I think makes all the difference. The stills that you can get from some of these videos rivals that of my Canon R7. I don't really care so much about the color night vision and the white flash because I do notice, especially with coyotes, it scares the daylights out of them. I often will get deer that spook on the white flash. It depends on how much hunting pressure has been put on them, where the camera's located, and a bunch of other factors. Whether it's bucks or does, because they definitely have different spook factors. This camera can do up to a 48 megapixel still photo, and it does up to 1296 pixel HD video with sound. Now I want to talk about the sound on these cameras, and I want to stress that it's not like sound that you get from any other trail camera. These trail cameras have such exquisite sound that I will often set a GardePro up in an area where I have another brand camera just to capture the audio. Sometimes I set these out just to if you know the intro to um our bi-weekly compilations on YouTube, you'll notice that there's this beautiful mournful howling that I have as part of the intro. That was recorded on a GardePro camera, and it's the most crystal clear, beautiful sound. You would have thought that I had taken a professional microphone out into the woods to capture the coyotes howling that night. Um, we will set GardePros out and for like ASMR type quality videos of like animals crunching down bones or animals chewing on food or chewing on a carcass or whatever. You cannot rival the sound that you get from these. I will kind of separate this out. I will say that the sound on their Wi-Fi and their standalone cameras, I will say is fantastic. The cellular cameras do not seem to have the same quality of sound. I've gotten a lot of popping and scratching on those. I think it's just the mechanism of how the data is transferred. I don't think it's not a um I'm not crapping on GardePro because I own a lot of GardePro. In fact, I would say that they're probably my favorite camera at this point. Um, and I was always a Browning girl before this, and I still love the Browning, and I still have a lot of Browning out, and I have a lot of money invested in Browning cameras, but I definitely have more GardePro now, and I plan to get more. I have the long range Wi-Fi that I just got that I have to set up. I love their close focus. I just love them. And I hope that you will also enjoy them. I hope that you try them out. Um, let's look at the specs here. This has a 70-degree angle field of view. So it will give you a little bit more than a 50 millimeter. 50 millimeter is a kind of what's considered like a human field of view or close to a human field of view. It does 100 foot or 30 meters of night vision distance. It has a 0.1 second trigger speed, and it will detect motion within a 120-degree angle. It's a wide angle detection. You can buy these cameras in single packs, or you can save. If you buy 2 packs, you save even more if you buy a 4 pack. It is fantastic. You don't ever see this type of discount that you get with GardePro with any other camera. The Sony Starvis sensor is just phenomenal. It produces low noise images. It's super sensitive to light at night. It's just gorgeous. I love these cameras. The setup is just phenomenal. You've got a 2.4-inch color screen. You can see everything that you're doing. You're not like, I'm older, so I need to use reading glasses, and I just hate having to get my reading glasses out because I can't see anything. You can see everything on this menu. The menu is so easily laid out and so intuitive and so easy to use with the buttons that you're not just guessing like, oh, do I push this to get there or that? You don't have to worry about that. It is so intuitive and user-friendly. Now, the GardePro cameras allow you to use up to a 512 gig SD card, which also is amazing because some of these cameras out there cap you off at 32 gigs. You can just put a massive card in these and you can set it to crank out 5-minute long videos, and it is amazing. Told you earlier that it takes 8 AA batteries. You also can hook up a solar panel to this or an AC adapter with like a lithium pack on a 12-volt DC input. The DC input jack. You can set your video length to 3 seconds all the way to 5 minutes, and you can tell it that it has to do this at night. Some of the other cameras decide for you, they override your choice of video length, especially at night, based on battery strength or based on what they want you to have. If I want to chew up my battery on a GardePro camera, I can set it for 5-minute long night videos, and we'll use night vision for 5 full minutes until the batteries are dead. And I appreciate the choice for that. I also like these nice long videos because then you can really get a good view of the animals if they linger around the camera. They don't just cut off. All right, let's see here. You can set this to hybrid, which is motion detection plus time lapse. You can just do straight up motion detection, or you can just do straight time lapse. Actually, I've never tried a time lapse video, and I think I'm going to do it. Um, I don't know when, but I will definitely do a recording of a time lapse with a GardePro at some point in the future. Let's see here. Um, you can, I'm trying to see what the minimum, a lot of these have like a minimum recording distance, like how close you can get to the camera without it going out of focus, but this one doesn't say. The optical lens is an f1.6, which is really nice. It's got a fixed 1.6 lens, which means it lets a lot of light in. It means that you're not that it's very nice. You're not occluding light, so you're getting a nice bright photo usually. It's letting a lot more light in. It has 120 degrees of sensing angle, but this comes 60 degrees from the left side. Or I'm sorry, central zone is 60 degrees. Left and right sides are both 30, which is really awesome. It can sense up to 90 feet um, in normal conditions. Let's see here. Um, the keypad is the nice big keys that you can use. You can turn the info strip on and off. That's the little thing at the bottom of the screen that tells you like the temperature, the moon phase, the date, and the branding. You can change that. You also can change the camera name, which I really like. So this particular camera is also very inexpensive. I think that it starts off at $139 for the White Flash, but you can get 15% off if you use my coupon. Um, and then I also have the link to the camera so you can see the same specifications that I'm seeing right here. And you also can save if you do multiple packs. Now, I'm also going to mention that if you order using my links, it comes from overseas. It takes a couple weeks to get there, but it's well worth the wait. I typically order them from overseas whenever I've ordered them, and I've never had an issue with shipping. And the tracking is a little bit different than what we normally get in the US, but um, I just prefer doing this. I like to order from overseas. Um, you can get all the accessories that you can't sometimes get if you go on Amazon or something. And plus, if you order from us, you're helping to support our channel, which also is very important to us. I will not lie. Anyways, so just to recap, this is the GardePro A5WF, which the WF stands for White Flash. This is what the video looks like during the day. I've included the description in the description below, all of the links, including the 15% discount that you can get using my special code, the link to this particular camera. I want to thank you for watching and supporting Backyard Wildlife Maine. Every view, comment, and share helps us keep the cameras in the woods and the batteries fresh. I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, and to share it with your friends, because every little bit helps. And we want to keep this channel growing and growing. And I can't talk, obviously. And we want to try out new gear as time goes on too, and the support definitely helps us do that. So, anyways, so I'm gonna let you finish off the video watching this beautiful antlerless deer nibble his way off camera. And if you have any questions or comments, please drop them below. This video will be available on both YouTube and Facebook. I don't think it's going to be on Instagram, but don't hesitate to send us a message. And we will start putting out more videos with different examples of other cameras that we own, because we have over 30 cameras in action right now as we speak. But thanks again. Looking forward to a fun future with Backyard Wildlife Maine.